Welcome back to the Herbalist Hour. Today, I'm really excited to get to know Clarenda Stanley, aka Cece, aka Farmer Cee, which I have to presume is a play on words. Pharmacy, did I get that right?
You got it. Most people don't. I thought way more people would get it, but yeah.
I love a good word play, so yeah, I appreciate it.
Welcome to the Herbalist Hour. This is where community gather, merging the power of people and the flowers, the sweet and the bitter to the salty, the sour. Umami, it's time for the Herbalist Hour.
I would like to start things off by getting to know Clarenda a bit more. What were you like as a young child? Were you always into nature and plants and farming?
Yes and no. So my father was an officer in the military, and while he and my mom were married, Clarenda, um, we moved around a little bit. And so when they divorced, we did move back to Alabama. But we lived in Tuscaloosa initially, which was a more urban, a southern urban, which is very different than any other kind of urban, right? So we lived in Tuscaloosa for a while, and then we eventually moved back to my mother's hometown, Wilcox County, which is in the heart of the Black Belt region of Alabama. So then I was in nature, but I was in trouble. I was always in trouble. I was a very inquisitive child. I didn't quite get that be seen and not heard. If you don't want to hear me, then that means you don't want to see me because I got questions, right? Precocious. And I was also a young child that was dealing with the separation of her family. My father then took an overseas assignment, and I was in rural Alabama where I didn't talk like my cousins talked. I liked to read. I carried around a rabbit's foot. We had lived in San Antonio for a minute. I liked a good hat, right? This was hip hop urban, and I appreciated that, of course, but I grew up listening to other types of music, and you know, it was a different experience. So I got in trouble a lot and became a mother young at 15. So yeah,
Very good. What brought you to North Carolina?
a divorce.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I gave him the whole state. I was like, you can take everything. The houses. Let me get my kids, their stuff, my artwork, and you can have the state of Georgia.
There you
So
go.
I was like, I don't know anyone in North Carolina. I actually saw an article in Money Magazine, Cary, North Carolina, #1 small town in America. I said, yep, that's where we're going to go. We're going to go add some melanin to Cary. And that is what we did.
So then you started a farm called Green Heffa Farm,
That
and
came later. Yeah.
came later.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
I would love to hear about the origin of starting that farm, but before we get into that, can you tell us what the name Green Heffa means?
Okay, so in the South, where are you right now?
So as I was mentioning pre-show, I'm actually from Oregon, spent my entire life in Oregon, but we just
Okay.
moved to Wisconsin last year. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. You haven't had any Southern flavor. Uh,
Actually, I would say that I have. I
where?
love the South. I spent quite a bit of time in the South, just hanging out. I've been to Alabama. I've been to Mississippi. Actually, I always would say my favorite city in the world is New Orleans. I'm going there for the fifth time for my 40th birthday here soon. So I'm a huge Southern culture fan,
It's different being experiencing the South more as a tourist, as a
for
visitor,
sure.
than it is the lived experience.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And yeah, so there is definitely a difference. But
Yeah.
what I will say is that the experience of being in the South as a Black woman,
Yeah.
coming up as a young child, uh, not having an ambiguous ethnicity, so to speak, and
Sure.
having to operate in that space. It's a very unique experience that enables you, I feel, to connect with agriculture in a different way. So When we moved to Wilcox County, we moved onto my grandparents' farm. My grandfather was a cattle farmer, did some row crops, typical Southern production, and they had 100 acres of land. We still have that land. I actually own 20 acres of it now, in addition to my farm here. But I was not taught to go into farming. It was no. And so Green Heffa actually is paying homage to my maternal grandmother, her name was Charity. And it was a very befitting name. I went to live with her as my mom and I were having difficulties. My dad was overseas. My grandmother, who could not drive, had my uncle drive her to Tuscaloosa to come and get me. And so I moved to Wilcox County before my mom and my older sister did. And so the thing, though, my grandma, good Presbyterian woman, Charity, love, she didn't do a whole lot of cussing, right? But if a young if a young woman, a young lady, female, ticked her off, her ultimate insult was that old mean heifer. That was strong. I tried to give her some stronger words. I really did. She didn't appreciate me trying to expand her vocabulary. She a mean heifer. So for me, because I'm committed to taking care of the land and being respectful of the planet and environmental stewardship and responsibility and accountability, because that's missing in a lot of agriculture and herbalism. But in addition to that, I'm a for-profit entity. I'm a business. And I'm always trying to communicate that to those who just seem very resistant to hearing what I'm saying. So Green Heffa pays homage to my grandmother Charity.
I love that. And I know you love your wordplay and some of your products, like you have the Rich on tea. Do you have a Chera tea, perchance, in homage to your grandma?
I don't yet, because I haven't fallen in love with enough of a combination yet to carry her name. I do have Brenda's Balm, which is after my mother, who has joined the ancestors. But yeah, I haven't come up with one for Charity yet, but it's in there.
Got to wait for the right blend to pay respect.
Yeah.
I love it. Just a quick break from the show to let you know about our HerbRally Schoolhouse, our private member area where, HerbRally already comes out with a ton of free content, but if you'd like to get even more exclusive content, check out herbrally.com/schoolhouse. You could use coupon code schoolhouse30 at checkout to get your first 30 days for free and see inside the member area. There's a ton of exclusive classes specifically for our members. There's herbal community discounts. There's a private member area where you could interact with the other members as well. Another perk is you get the ability to hang out with us live on the Herbalist Hour podcast. You could ask questions, etc. So that's a super fun perk, which we're really excited about. Huge shout out and thank you to all of our HerbRally Schoolhouse members. It's really one of the best ways you could support our work here at HerbRally. So thank you so much. And now back to the show. Awesome. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about the farm? When did it start? Kind of the evolution of it, what y'all grow out there. I would love to hear about it.
Sure. Okay. So we focus on medicinal plants and herbs. And we do have a line of herbal teas that we sell, but we also sell herbs by the ounce to those who may be expanding their well-being program with herbs, home apothecaries, high-end or small-scale herbalists. And we really cater to, so you mentioned the term wordplay a lot. I would expand that a bit to say very intentional. Everything about what we do is very intentional. Because what I call this farm is my customized joy factory, and the magic ingredient which makes every single container of my teas even that much more enjoyable and meaningful is that there is a Black woman's joy that has been sown in. And that's significant when you look at the statistics, right? There's less than 400 Black women farmers that the USDA was able to connect with this last census. The fact that there's even fewer that are land owning and even fewer that are brand owning. So I am fully aware of what I'm bringing to the space and the challenge. There's a challenge beyond agriculture in society about a confident, sure of herself Black woman. There is. And when you look at the herbal market, when you look at the wellness market, natural wellness, herbal tea, like there's no reason why a brand like mine that has the intention, that has the quality, I'll put my herbs up against anybody, and has the intentionality, has not become a more something, where we'd be having this conversation and you would be drinking my herbs, right? So my motto with the farm is we grow slow so we don't owe, because what I refuse to do for myself, what I refuse to do for myself is create an oppressive environment for me. Like if I'm gonna be my own boss and I'm saying, here's all the issues that existed for me to be my best self in these other environments, and then I replicate that toxicity, then I'm participating in continued oppression. And I try my best not to participate in spiritual raggedness. I really, really do. And so here at the farm, we are the first Black farm, period, in the country to be a certified B Corp, but we're not the last. Because, I worked with B Labs to create a program that to date has brought in 29 more women identifying BIPOC-led for-profit businesses to get their certified B Corp status. It's called the Level Program. So definitely, if you have notes with the podcast,
I will
share that. And we also, in addition to making sure that we're respectful of the land, and we hear all the labels like regenerative. We participate, we do it, but it's not regenerative for me. I didn't mess it up. Like, the whole regenerative, it's commoditized people being less irresponsible, but it doesn't acknowledge accountability. What we're doing is reparative agriculture. And why does it need to be repaired? Well, we know. So we make sure that we care for the planet as best as we can, because we have this ridiculous system where it costs green to be green. Like, that's about as stupid as paying for water, right? When everybody needs it. It's like this is so, but they didn't consult me when they were coming up with any of the systems. So education, we teach here, we do workshops. I have a tiny home where people can come and get immersive education from me. I don't allow picking of my brain. That just sounds painful. Like, why would I let you pick my brain? And then, of course, building a brand, coming up with our products, and just really positioning Green Heffa Farms to be, I have a saying, I don't know if you like hip hop, but
I'm a huge fan. In fact, the theme song to the Herbalist Hour is a hip hop song.
Okay. So you're going to understand this line. I think you will appreciate it. I'm Farmer Cee, the herb farmer that's trying to get in your pantries.
Yep, love it.
Do you know where this is coming from?
No, I don't. I don't know that line. Tell me.
Digital Underground.
Digital Underground. Yep, I know. Early 90s. Yep, absolutely.
In your
That's where Tupac got to start. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's okay.
I don't know that
Farmer Cee. You got Farmer Cee. We're good. So that's what we have here. So it's 15 acres. We have about 5 acres total in production to include a greenhouse, a high tunnel, have little under 40 different species of different plants that we cultivate. And then of some of those species, we grow several varieties, like our holy basil, Tulsi. We have Vana, Kapoor, and Krishna. So yes, we smell delicious. Ah,
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
yeah, yeah.
I saw in one of your videos on your YouTube channel, by the way, dear listener, you could go to at Farmer Cee on YouTube. I'll leave links in the podcast show notes and YouTube description. You mentioned that you had a day job. I'm just kind of curious, do you still have a day job, or is this your full-time gig now?
I sure don't. I got fired.
Congrats. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably the best thing that ever happened to you.
They fired me. So my background, I'm a fundraiser.
Okay.
High net worth. So from 7 to 9 figure dollar conversations, and the type of wealth that they can go into Target and nobody will recognize them, right? Because there's a whole level of wealth of people who are anonymous in many ways. And so I raised money for the environment, and a few things happened. One, not right before, I'll say the position before, essentially, I no longer try to assimilate. It was not my goal to go into a situation. If something's funny, I'm going to laugh, right? If there's some seasonings available, I'm adding it to my food. I'm not trying to be palatable. I'm going to bring my whole self. And personally, I think that's a good thing.
I love that message. I gotta say,
I acknowledge my bias, right?
on one of your Instagram videos, I want to say it was one of your reels or something. You were talking about somebody in your audience was asking you to be more humble, and you're like, I'm just gonna be myself. And I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it. And I was like, man, I want some more of what Farmer Cee has, because I just really resonated with that message, and I just appreciate that about you.
Thank you. I want to answer those questions.
Yeah.
In the chat. But one, I specialize in growing botanical unbotheredness. Like nervines are my ish. That is, I grow alteratives, I grow adaptogens, I grow aromatics, but nervines connect with me on a spiritual level. So that's one thing. And secondly, I chose to be happy. I made a conscious decision because I feel growing is a holistic experience. My energy is going into these plants, to this ground, to all this biodiversity. It's coming back into me. If I'm putting something in it that isn't coming from my best self, not perfect, but my best self, then I feel I am doing a disjustice by putting this out here and saying, this is the best that I have to offer. A lot of these herbs have oppression steeped in them. The people who are growing these plants are miserable. You should not, the way that this capitalistic system is set up, be able to go to the store and get some ethically, equitably produced chamomile for less than $5 a box. Who do you think is getting the tail end of the deal? It's the people who are putting their hands in the soil, right? Because oftentimes those are very different than who owns the soil. And I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that. And I feel like just observing business leaders, people who are respected, and seeing how decisions are made, and realizing some exclusions happen at even the highest levels. And these are people that have legions following them. In order for me to do this, to become a farmer, I had to do it differently.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned let's get into the some of the guest questions. So why don't we start with Lako from the HerbRally Schoolhouse. Thanks, Lako, for joining in on the combo. So Lako asks a couple questions. What's the best herb? What's the best herb that you grow?
I will say because all of my herbs are phenomenal. I would say the herb that I truly connect with, and I'm probably the one that I show off the most, is my butterfly pea flower.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I grow some beautiful butterfly pea. Yeah.
Awesome. Leiko also asks, very curious to hear about her beautiful tea blends and the benefits.
Yeah. So I'll give you like a high level overview. So we have now 6 signature blends, but we have 4 that we call our classics that are in. Oh, I could have had some strategic product placement, and I got, hold on, they're not paying me. Let me set my
Yeah.
up, because I'm not
You
gonna
want to
put it.
grab some. Yeah.
I'm being
Love
very
it.
subtle with it, you know, add to the aesthetic.
There you go.
But our containers are
Yeah, nice.
thank you.
Got some help.
Yeah, our containers that are UPC'd and that we sell in stores as well. Those are our classics. We have Rich Auntie, which does feature butterfly pea along with some lemongrass and some hibiscus. That's the beautifying blend. So it helps to support skin health, hair health. It can make, let me get technical with it, because you have to speak in legalese, because even what the knowledge that's been known has been commoditized, and I don't want to get sued, but it also may help support mood balance as well. It's just the scientific or the binomial nomenclature of butterfly pea is clitoria eternity. And I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay. The plant do listen to the plant. They're talking to us, they're sentient beings. So there's that. That's Rich Auntie. Throw a pinky up if you feel so inspired. And then there's fixity, which fixity, of course, being the process of becoming stable. So a little play on that. And that's, think red. Red, think of, heart. It's a nice stabilizing tea. And then we have our only caffeinated blend, which is blacka tea, because we like to keep it blackety black.
I like that.
Blacka tea, which also has blacka tea, and it's got some ginger, and it's hyssop, a licorice mint. And for those who are like, we don't like licorice, look, you don't like the fake licorice. You need to give nature's licorice a chance, because it's a lot of plant liquor without the ish. All right. And then we have sanity, which is just that chill, calming, stay employed, don't cuss them out quite yet. I'm at home, I'm taking my bra off, I had a stressful day, I just want to get some good, deep, restful sleep kind of tea. And it has Damiana and lemon balm. So yeah, that's what I'm drinking now.
Very cool. So Leiko says, love butterfly pea. I grow it and drink it often.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
I also want to highlight, as we were talking about pre-show, you have a lot of single herbs as well.
I do. Yeah.
And just looking through it here. Yeah, this is great. So that's greenheffafarms.com. And since we're on the guest question mode, I told you before the show that we've got a couple of video questions for you. So I'm excited to surprise you.
Hey, C. Hey, Mason. It's me, Derek, the chocolate botanist. I value you both. C, I love you dearly. I got to come back out to that farm. I have not been out there in a while. I say this every year. I'm going to come out. I really got to come out this year. Mason, I value what you are doing and how you are showcasing Black herbalists on your platform, on your podcast. And I just have one question for you, C. When it comes to land ownership, when it comes to somebody who wants to do something similar, they want to purchase land and get a farm and work with herbs and create a business adjacent to yours, tangential to yours, what is the top 3 things that you would suggest to that person in order for them to be successful? Words of wisdom, maybe you wish you have gotten any tips or tricks, whatever those top 3 things are. Thank y'all, and y'all have a great day.
Hey, He really got like 3 questions in one.
Yeah, I did.
Like people who do that, name 3, it's like, I see what you're doing. I see what you no, love Derek. Top 3. 1, save money. Regardless of whether that's the capital you're going to use or not, it's a mindset thing. Okay. You have this is a bonus. You have to get out of the scarcity or lack mindset, especially if you're going into it and you understand that it was a system not designed with you in leadership as mind. All right. This system, the foundation of it was designed with a person like me providing labor, not leadership. So that means in order for you to be able to be in those spaces, you have to have a mindset that's conducive to where it is you ultimately want to go. So with that said, save money. It's just a good practice. If you're bad with your money now, you're going to be bad with your business money later. Okay. I don't care that you can go get business credit. Number 2, get your credit straight. Again, it puts you in a better position in case, like, for example, when I got started to get a business Amex, I did cosign. I did, because I had a credit score that would give my business an immediate boost. And so I did it. But I was able to do that because of my mindset. So save money, get your credit straight. And then 3, do your market research. Don't have an attitude of you're going to grow it and they're going to come. No, you need to know who your customer is. Who are you growing for? What are you growing for? What's the global market like? What's the regional market like? What are the outlets, right? I don't deal with crowds if I don't have to. Strangers just coming onto my personal safe space. One of the things that has been critical, in addition to using herbs, for me being in a healthy space mentally and emotionally, is I curate the energy around me. So therefore, it made sense to go the e-commerce route. So I had to build a brand, because I am building a brand that one day I want to have the option of whether or not I'm going to sell it. Whether I choose to sell it or not, I want the option. So you've got to do your market research. And this is just an extra. Stop giving folks who are making their money selling you some BS dream that are preying upon your vulnerabilities. Stop giving them your money thinking that they have a magic bullet. Look, this
I love that.
country can't keep no damn secrets. We have whole industries built on gossiping, telling stuff. Do you honestly think if they had the silver bullet, they have to sell this course to you for $19.99? And I'm not against courses. I have a course. But be picky, be selective about who you put your money in. Like, hopefully you get to with who you spend your money with, period. Because money it's an idea. It's a concept. It ain't real. It's energy that's been trapped into this fictitious. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. So at least try to bring some consciousness into at how you move in that space. At least that's how I do. And that goes back to number 1, though, changing your relationship. Because if you mess around like me, I know Green Heffa Farms is a multi-million-dollar brand. And I'm stopping at multi-million because I never want to become a billionaire. I never want to hoard that much money. I don't care if I got to get a whole country out of debt, spend it. I don't need that type of potential transformation in order to feel good and feel validated, because I built an environment for myself that I feel good every day. So that's why I don't care about losing followers. I don't care about getting canceled. If you come into farming, I guess this is another one. This is the last one. You can't subscribe. You can't subscribe because they can't cancel you if you aren't subscribed. You have to come in with your own sense of self and doing it in a way that is in alignment, hopefully, with advancement of all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned you can't subscribe, and actually, I was going to throw a bonus tip out there for you as well. I was going to say go subscribe to Farmer Cee on Instagram and YouTube because you share a ton of this type of advice on your channel. There's so many videos, and yeah, just before the show, I was watching a couple of them. I was like, oh shoot, that's a lot of great advice. So
Thank you. Well, I'm not for mass consumption. And I understand that, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
you mentioned your course. This might be a good time. I didn't know you had a course, so maybe let's plug your course. What is your course about?
It's on my website somewhere.
Okay.
It's not tremendously easy to find because,
Okay.
side note, I'm beefing. Well, I'm not even beefing with them anymore. I broke up with them. Stripe. So I was using Stripe for my digital course, not for any of my physical products because they don't allow cannabis. And one of my crops is high cannabinoid hemp flower. So I'm like, cool, I'll just use y'all for digital stuff and Patreon. Stripe comes and says, nah, we don't want to deal with you anymore. So I'm like, cool, it's over. And then they keep coming back talking about we're waiting on additional information. You only get one opportunity to break up with me. Like, I don't trust you anymore.
We're done.
So it's on Thinkific, but it is how to, gosh, I'm forgetting the title of my own course. How to secure a government grant. It's about for small farms. So it's about how to write more competitive proposals, how to find out where opportunities are, what you need to have set up if you want to start, because a lot of people think, and can I just say this? Let me just, because I got people in the uproar. I'm getting people unfollowing me right now because I did a little sarcastic which I'm fine with, curate the energy. But there is not a magic grant out there that the government has to buy an individual some farmland. I am welcome to someone proving me wrong. I would love to know of that. But that does not exist. Because that's a question I get often for people who are interested in starting a farm. So I guess that can go back to Derek's, okay? There's no magic grant out there, y'all. Trust me, we know about it. Gosh, where was I going? I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, so I don't remember what I was saying.
That's all good. I will do my best to research your website, dig through it, and see if I can find the course, and we'll leave it in the YouTube description of the podcast show notes. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But yeah, the course. Yeah. I need to update the course because things are always changing when it comes to government grants. And so the course is more than a year old. So I wouldn't encourage right now. I'd say get on the newsletter.
There you go.
When I update the course, then I'll start promoting the course. Still good information, but not the most current. So what I want folks to do is get on my email newsletter. Because if you get on my newsletter, you're going to become a customer.
There you go.
Become a customer. Like, I'm not even concerned about it. But you also get, I call those subscribers my faves because they are. Like, they're the ones I ask for input on things. They're the ones who try things out first. My email list is what keeps me from having to do farmers markets, not knocking them.
You probably paid your dues with regards to farmers markets.
I did one.
Okay.
I knew I wasn't gonna like it, but then I was like, I need to stop saying I know I'm not gonna like it and I haven't experienced it. And I did it and I didn't like it.
There you go.
Yeah. So I love
I couldn't agree more. Having a newsletter list is vital to the health of your business. Absolutely. HerbRally wouldn't be able to function without it either. I'm on Farmer Cee's newsletter. Definitely go subscribe. Like you said, you can learn more about events and happenings. And Cee, I was telling you pre-show, HerbRally started as a events website. So I need to pay attention to your newsletter. I'll start listing your events as I see them come up. But I want to say on your website, you have an events tab as well.
I do. I don't have a lot of events this year on the calendar. We did start implementing some on-farm shopping days. So previously to order, it would be I ship it to you, or if you were local, you could opt for farm pickup.
Mhm.
And then I would have 1 or 2 workshops. So this year, I still have a couple of workshops. I've already had 2. I had one on aphrodisiacs and I had one on nervines. And so I will probably do one on adaptogens. And then the other workshop is generally on farm building, like on the business side, either infrastructure or branding or something like that. And then we have on-farm shopping days. We have 2 left, one in June, one in July, where you RSVPs, no cost RSVP. I just like to prepare for who's coming. And then there is a cap on it where they can come to the farm, shop. I have some herbs that I don't offer on the website. I don't have enough quantity, but I do offer here on site. So it's a good opportunity to just, you know, engage with customers in a more meaningful way, have a little kiki. It's been such a rewarding experience. So we do like to have guests and people join us and see what we got going on here. Just not everybody.
There you go. Well, that actually segues nicely into another guest question. It's actually a couple, and I'm gonna pull that up for you right here, right now.
Another video?
Yep, another video.
Okay.
I want to say the volume on this one might be a little quieter, but let's give this a go.
Hey, Farmer Cee, Jeff and Mel from Zach Woods Herb Farm here. Hope you're doing well. We have actually Mel has a question for you.
Hey, Farmer Cee. So here's the thing. On my farm, when we do tours, everyone asks me, hey, Mel, what's your favorite plant? And I have about 100 of them. But we know that you can't grow all the plants that you love necessarily. So I'm curious about your decision-making process. How do you choose which plants you grow? How do you choose which plants you bring into your medicine? Would love to hear more about the process that you go through and all the ways you think about it and feel about it. And I wish you a happy, good growing season.
Yes.
So cool. Well, I can't answer her question in depth because I have to get a check for all that knowledge. She wants the deep, but I will definitely share what goes into my thought process as to what we choose to grow here. So, number one, the first consideration is what wants to grow here. We don't believe in force. I'm not going to alter conditions and use energy to try to make you be here. I want everyone that's here to be here willingly. So we take a full assessment on what is already growing, and then we study what grows well and take into consideration the fact that our climate is changing. Right. And so we just had an updated hardiness zone, for example. We were 7B, we're now 8A. So I take that into consideration. Number two, my second consideration is what do we enjoy growing? Because that is a real that can have a real effect on production. You can go to a farm and tell the plant that they don't really care about. You can always. You can walk on there. You can see which one they're really proud of. Those strawberry rows be pristine, look like they polished every leaf. And then you look over in the corner and the poor little fig trees look like they're hanging on by a wing and a prayer, right? So I want to make sure that I can give love to all plants. And I have one plant I was sharing earlier with a few people, and you can tell, you can look at it. It needs to be weeded. It's stinging nettle. I love the benefit, but it just I get webs, and it's just like, why does there have to be this pain? And of course the plan is like, because I don't want you to cut me. Like, hello.
Yeah.
So it's what we enjoy growing. And then 3, what are we trying to accomplish as far as benefit wise? What does this plant offer? Does it fit within our space? There are a lot of really beautiful plants that would probably, that would grow here well, that we may enjoy growing, but is there a need for us to grow that particular plant? And so those are the considerations.
Thank you for sharing. Well, we got maybe 10-ish more minutes or 15 more minutes. I know you got a busy farm life out there, and I don't want to keep you the entire time. So why don't we do maybe a couple more serious questions and maybe a few for funsies questions. But I think I've already kind of, or we've already kind of heard a little bit about this, but what is the mission of Green Heffa Farm? And
Uh,
actually, what's the mission of your work in general, I should say?
okay. We do have a little fancy corporate mission, but honestly, we're a for-profit
Mm-hmm.
business.
Mm-hmm.
So I think more than what our mission is, it's our purpose. Why? Why is there a Green Heffa Farms? And first and foremost is to fill a gap. I didn't see myself represented in the herbal natural wellness industry. As far as a producer, I couldn't find um, more diversity and more inclusion on the shelves at the grocery stores that I lived in my zip code. And I lived in a zip code where, you know, certainly upper middle class, and I'm going into the Whole Foods and the fresh markets and the grocery stores that really highlight organic production, local production, all of this. But why can't I look on these shelves and see myself reflected? And so when I decided to create the farm, I went into the herbs because I was using herbs, number one, but I also went into it to fill a void, to fill a gap. And so being able to now see that representation, it's really been a game changer, and it's helped influence others. So part of our purpose is I'm showing that it's doable. I'm single. Okay. I'm actually single. I'm single. I'm in my late 40s. I had, 2 kids before I was out of my teens. The thing that has gotten me ahead was intelligence. That's why nobody can convince me I'm stupid. I came from the poorest county in Alabama and was able to get into some rooms. Then they may have forgot I was in the room. I had to remind them a couple of times, like, yo, I'm listening. I hear what y'all saying, but I'm in those rooms. So that, and once I set my vision, like the mindset thing again. And so I'm showing part of my purpose is to show, whether it's farming or some other thing you want to do, it doesn't have to be farming. Part of the purpose of Green Heffa Farms is to show that it's doable. Things exist twice. The first time is in your mind. So you already halfway there. And the purpose is also, I feel, to show that you can do business good. Not the greenwashing that occurs, not the performative acts that we see, but you can actually create a business. And to be able to do that in agriculture as a Black woman in the herbal space, I feel has a lot of tentacles of influence, but I don't consider myself, I've been called an influencer. I've been told that I'm an influencer, and I am quick to correct you and say I'm a farmer with influence. And that differentiation, I feel, is key to the purpose of Green Heffa Farms and who we are at the core.
Love that. In one of your advice videos, you said growing plants is scientific, it's anecdotal, and it's spiritual. I would just love to hear you speak about the spiritual side of being a farmer and growing plants.
Well, I think now I am admittedly biased, but I feel that no one has a more intimate relationship with a plant than a farmer. Not your scientist, not your researcher, certainly not a person who gets a plant in a finished form. Nobody is with that plant for the breadth of time as than the farmer that sees that plant from an idea. I should plant XYZ. I'm going to plant it right here. Let me research. It wants some dappled sunlight. It prefers more alkaline soil. Like nobody else puts all of that thought into production and ensuring the success of that plant than the farmer, while they're also observing soil health and paying attention to things like, yeah, you can take the you can do the test and get the quantitative data and find out how much of XYZ mineral your soil has, or what type of soil. You have a loamy soil? Do you have sandy? Is it clay? But only that farmer knows how many earthworms are there and how many earthworms it had compared to last year, and whether or not the milky spores really did anything with the Japanese beetles, and if this particular plant likes to grow by this particular plant, and do they help each other out. Like nobody is paying attention to that like a farmer. Nobody is seeing the butterflies go across the field and the hummingbirds and the ladybugs and excited because it's raining, while everybody else is like, oh, I'm so mad it's raining. It's like, shut up with that negativity. We need the rain. This is a good,
Plants are loving it.
yeah, this is a good thing. And to be a part of that, to play a role as a vessel of transformation in that, because humans have such impact on the planet. It's absolutely heartbreaking to think how irresponsible human beings are as a species, and how unaccountable some groups of human beings are, and what we're doing to the planet. And when you're connected to that, you have to have a spiritual moment, because you can start thinking about, like I can start thinking about things like that. I can think about the inequities, how hard it is to get funding, how hard it is to get in folks' pantries. I can think about the hate online and how many death threats I have, and the challenge to deal with government officials from local to sometimes federal levels. And I could think about that, the fact that I'm beefing with this organization and I don't care if they happen to be watching. I don't care, because they watch every move I make, and I can get to thinking about all of that. But being a farmer allows me to connect with spirit, with all that's around me, and tap into that energy. And that is what really, I won't say it makes me impervious. I'm a human being, but it makes me resilient against all of that. And for me, that's spirituality, because that's when I can show up as my best and whole self. A lot of these people walking around religious and acting in a way that I have no interest in serving your God. Look at the decisions you're making. Look at who you're hurting. Look at what you're willingly participating in. You're not a commercial. If you ever thought you were going to influence me, you can't influence me. I want no participation in that. But farming for me allows me, that's my church. That's where I'm able to worship. That's when I'm closest to what I believe to be the spiritual head, the God, goddess, whatever title. I don't even try to encapsulate it, because why? You know, we have we done a good job at categorizing? It doesn't seem to be a system that really works for us.
Pretty hard to do.
Yeah. So farming for me, yeah. That's where I go to church.
Thank you for answering. I'm glad we had time for that question. I was really curious what you were going to say. So very powerful stuff. You got time for a couple of funsies questions?
Sure. Let's have some fun.
All right. I'm curious who sang the song for your newer YouTube videos.
Yeah, so that is an old college bestie. Her name is LaShonda Corder, but she goes, her entertainment singing name is Wisdom with a Z.
Okay.
And if you look in the caption, in most of them, but I know definitely the earlier ones, I have her tagged and everything, but you can find her on social
I'll check
media.
her out.
With a Z. Yeah. She has a record, actually. It's in the other building, but yeah. So she gifted that song to me. I had a fire at my farm last summer, and it pretty much wiped out my full inventory. The building I'm in now, totally destroyed. And so I was out of commission for a few months, and she was not able to come here, but she wanted to give me something to support. And so, yeah, those are the kind of gifts I get. Like that's the vibe I'm on. Don't give me somebody's name for me to walk around and give them a free commercial. Like I love a gift from the heart. And who gets a theme song? You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
incredible.
who does that? Yeah, yeah.
It's catchy. She's got a beautiful voice. We'll definitely link to Wisdom in the podcast show notes as well. You have a great documentary about you as well, which I watched. Me and Amanda watched before our show, or before we jumped on the call. And in it, you mentioned that the color purple is a vibe. Just curious what you love about the color purple.
You know, it's just been a color that's resonated with me from, I believe, first sight. I really believe it was love at first sight. As a kid, I always wanted purple. I just gravitated towards it. I have it around me in all kind of places at all times. Like
There
I
you
just
go.
love the color purple. And the reason I have this land is because when I pulled up, it was just full acreage was just covered in this flower that had the most brilliant
Hmm.
purple. Oh my gosh. I could just hear Prince singing and the color purple was playing. Like it was just gorgeous. And I found out later it was morning glory and that it's a murderess. They choke all of she just chokes all of the plants except watermelons.
Hmm.
Her and watermelons have a little love affair. It's sweet. So I let them grow with the watermelons. But anyway, that it was going to be a plant I had to eradicate, or at least I haven't eradicated it.
Hard to do.
That sounds terrible, but yeah, I have. They're not as motivated, but yes, I love the color purple, and people who love the color purple, I get along with.
I'm a purple fan, so we're
Are you
getting
a
along, I
purple
think. Oh
fan?
yeah, I love. Well, here's the thing too. I'm actually technically legally colorblind, but I still see colors. But purple, I absolutely adore that color. So
You
yeah,
do.
yeah, I do, I do.
Okay.
Leiko
Oh, that's
says
cute. She's a
purple is my favorite color too. Yep,
now.
I'm
What kind of purple? What shade? Because there's different purple people.
true.
What shade? What kind of shade do you love?
Leiko, what's your favorite purple? You got one? While she's answering that, I was going to ask you, last but not least, what do you like to do outside of farming and hanging with the plants? Any random hobbies of yours?
I love antique and I love plum too. I love a royal though. That's
Oh
my
yeah.
deep royal. But I love antiquing. I love thrifting. I love upcycling.
Mm,
I love music, especially live music, festivals. I love to eat. Oh my gosh, I really love to.
same.
Yes, I don't like to cook. So
Okay.
I love to figure out ways to eat really good food that require no effort from me. So that's fun. And spending time with my family. I have 5 grands and
Wow.
3 kiddos. I have 2 dogs and I have a cat, Clifford May, Chewy and Much Much, my dogs. So yeah, spending time with friends, traveling. I do more traveling in the fall and winter, but I do like to
Nice.
see different things. I don't travel as much now, just because I can't say that I care about the planet and just be zipping all over the world in an airplane at a moment's
Right.
notice. I'm just gonna go have me a little 4 day. That no, so I try to be more intentional now about traveling, and then also the privilege, how privileged we are in this country to be able to move about the world the way that we can. And so I try to think about that as well. So I don't do as much traveling now, but I do like traveling within North Carolina because it's so much in North Carolina. So yeah, that's some of the things.
Fun. Yeah, when Amanda and I watched the documentary about you, one thing that really stood out to Amanda was that you like to find the beauty in old things and bring dying things back to life, like the aloe vera and yeah, just she loves to antique as well and go thrifting and whatnot. So she was definitely on that level with you. But see, this has been so much fun. I really enjoyed getting to know you. You got a new customer in me. Dear listener, please go shop greenheffafarms.com. Get some tea blends, get some herbs. Did you have any closing thoughts before we wrap up and get out of here?
No, I hope this was enjoyable or
Very enjoyable.
I really appreciate the fact that someone actually watched the whole entire thing from the HerbRally community, and definitely keep supporting HerbRally and keep doing what you're doing and sharing your platform.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and others follow suit.
That's right. Yeah, Leiko will join us for these, so I really appreciate Leiko showing up live, very much so. So one more time, Farmer Cee, Stanley, greenheffafarms.com. Really look forward to chatting with you and maybe even hanging out on your farm someday. I love North Carolina. We'll have to visit it and maybe do a little farm tour. That'd be awesome.
Come and stay in the tiny house.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. Well, shout out and thanks to Amanda for editing, and thanks to you, dear listener, as always, for tuning in. We'll see you in the next episode of the Herbalist Hour. Thanks so much for watching today's episode of the Herbalist Hour. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want more great herbal content, be sure to subscribe to our HerbRally YouTube channel. If you enjoy these Herbalist Hour episodes and you'd like to join us live, you can do so by becoming an HerbRally Schoolhouse member. Learn more at herbrally.com/schoolhouse. And if you want to get your first 30 days for free, use coupon code YouTube30 at checkout. So our HerbRally Schoolhouse members get access to exclusive video classes, monographs, and a lot more herbal community discounts, along with joining these live Herbalist Hour interviews. So one more time, herbrally.com/schoolhouse, enter coupon code YouTube30 at checkout to get your first 30 days for free. All right, we'll see you in the next episode, and take care.